What's a concept that most people misunderstand? The difference between effectiveness and efficiency. If I understand it correctly, shoving a grenade into someone's mouth is an effective way to kill them, but it's not very efficient in that it's loud and messy. But a poison would kill them quietly and cleanly. Sort of morbid example, but I think I get it. That average life expectancy throughout history used to be around 30 does not mean that most people died at 30. The actual reason for it was high child mortality. People who reached adulthood tended to live fairly normal lifespans. Mortality up to age 17 was like 50%. Imagine if of all the kids you grew up with, half of them died. People usually have trouble understanding the range of opinions that can exist on any given issue. In various ways, people often assume that what you think will happen is what you want to happen. I've had people get mad at me for saying that I think a particular candidate will win an election, as if I had said that I support that candidate and want him or her to win. People have trouble imagining that a person could hold an opinion but not hold it that firmly or passionately. This is especially evident when the person disagrees with something we care about. So for example, a very religious person might have trouble imagining a self-described atheist not being passionately anti-religious, or a passionately anti-religious atheist might have trouble imagining a religious person who isn't a frothing at the mouth fundamentalist. People have trouble imagining that a person could hold an opinion but not hold it that firmly or passionately. This is especially evident when the person disagrees with something we care about. You can also be firm and dispassionate. My atheism is firm but dispassionate. I don't care if another person is an atheist or not an atheist. I cannot conceive of any argument that would alter it though, especially given I don't actually care if I'm right about this. Irony, it often gets confused with sarcasm. Irony also gets confused with coincidence a lot. People will say, hey, we're wearing the same shirt, isn't that ironic? And it drives me insane. The difference between explanations and excuses. Boss, why are you late? Employer, so there was that one guy who, boss, I don't want to hear any excuse. Go back to work. Like this? That positive and negative have a meaning other than good and bad. To simplify, positive means adding something, and negative means subtracting something. Positive reinforcement is giving something in response to a behavior. Negative reinforcement is taking something away. Removing a stressor from a subject's environment as a reward for behavior is negative reinforcement. When discussing medical conditions, a positive symptom is the presence of something abnormal, sores, pain, fever, and a negative symptom is the absence of something normal, impaired cognition, cardiac arrest, etc. Positive and negative are very useful concepts, but most people have a fixed idea of what they mean. That essentially just makes them the fancy version of good or bad. Life is not black and white. Exactly, this is a point I've been trying to get across to some people when they ask about my opinions, beliefs. I guess people just prefer the simplicity. How digital music works. Many people think that it doesn't sound as good as analog because it only has snapshots of the original sound to trick you into thinking that you're hearing the same thing. The digital data is actually used to reconstruct the original sound. You may disagree about this, but the math checks out. People may prefer the sound of analog because of the way vinyl and tube amplifiers distort sound. Some people find this distortion pleasant, others don't. The customer is always right in matters of taste. This one used to boil my blood when I worked retail. I had a CEO once that summed it up perfectly. The customer is not always right. Usually they're wrong. But the customer is still the customer. So you have to decide at what level of wrong you're willing to accept and deal with. Pick your battles. And some customers are okay to choose to no longer do business with. His reasoning? Sure, you want to deliver good customer service. Otherwise you may not even be in business. But when their behaviors and attitudes cause more trouble than it's worth, it's okay to invite them to no longer be a customer. Statistics. Most people have no idea how statistics works. All they know is that you can lie with statistics, which tells us absolutely nothing about the usefulness of statistics. You can also lie with words. Does this mean words are useless and anything using words is untrustworthy? There's a 78,213% chance that all words are untrustworthy. Math can't be wrong though, so it's okay. The notion that once you earn over $70,000 a year more money won't make you happier. It was a poorly designed study, and when reviewed it revealed that they used a poor system that was biased by your feelings on the day, e.g. had a shitty car ride to work, thus I'm more cynical at the point of doing the survey. Recent studies have adjusted the answering system of the survey and found the real happiness figure is $250,000. To borrow a Chris Rock joke, I'd rather cry in a Mercedes than laugh in a Pinto. Child support is for the support of the child. It does not go directly to the child. It could go towards rent and electricity or whatever other bills the child's custodial parent needs. It's not just for new clothes and toys. Or in my mom's case, beer, weed and parties while my dad takes me to his place to eat. B. That colorblind people see absolutely no color. I think that exists, but it's extremely rare. My dad is colorblind. He says he gets colors mixed up, like green and red, especially if they are next to one another, but he still sees in color, just different than the average person would see it. From what I understand, usually when you are colorblind there are colors. I believe the most common is red and green, that your mind can't tell apart, so in this case red and green would look exactly the same to you. Discourse discussions. The fact that people can have discussion of ideas over a topic and still not take sides, and discuss only for the sake of knowledge expansion and establishing a solid understanding on the topic by including more ideas from every opinion. Not all discussions are to be ended up as debates if two or more people are throwing ideas from different POVs. Sadly lacking nowadays. Addiction is not a sign of being weak, having no willpower, a character flaw or a moral failing. It's a disease that can be both physical and psychological at the same time. That it is not about your intentions, but other people's perception of your actions that matter. Being an atheist is not claiming that there are no gods, it means one lacks the belief in gods. There is a difference between being religious or not. I've seen a number of times religious people ask questions how non-believers reconcile issues that seem a matter of life or death to them, that I just don't care about. But I've also seen atheists who seem to actually believe in there being no god with conviction that does seem religious and even zealous at times. The word literally. Someone said they literally screamed or died or fell over laughing, whatever, I can't remember exactly, and I just paused and said, I don't think you know what that word means. Then as I got older it just got used more and more to the point the definitions practically changed because it's a normal part of the current English language. It makes me feel like we're devolving. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Reddit videos.